Hello and welcome. It's 4:20. Let's get high. So I was planning today to read the 13th paragraph of 13 paragraphs from the Zohar that I've been reading over the last few days. But I'm having a little episode of can't think of the word. Anyways, everything's getting a little weird. I can't quite see correctly. I'll think of the word. And I was planning, since we're just going to do like the last paragraph, so there would be more time left to talk about what's coming up, which I thought I should talk about, because a Saturday night begins the saddest day of the year. And there's 2 days in the Jewish calendar where we refrain from eating or drinking or any kind of physical pleasure whatsoever. And on these 2 days, it says one day we do it out of sadness, which is starting on Saturday night, and the other day we do it out of just out of purity. We feel so pure, we don't want to get food or drink inside of us. And so this is the saddest day, and it corresponds to the destruction of the temple 2,000 years ago by Rome. And during that time, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, the author of Zohar, lived. And but he didn't write down his wisdom, because if he had of, I don't think anyone would have bothered to read the other rabbinic writings, because the Zohar is just so profound. So he went to heaven with his knowledge, passed away, went to heaven, and then 1,000 years later delivered it to a mystic, a Jewish mystic in Spain, who wrote it down. And for 700 years, people have been trying to decipher the Zohar. And recently I wrote and will publish this book in a month called Zohar Beyond the BlackWhole, which for the first time explains why the words of the Zohar were really saved for our time, which are the end of days. And what it is about our time that makes the words of the Zohar so relevant, even though it's an archaic text written in an archaic language, 2 archaic languages, Aramaic and Hebrew. And it's getting a little better here. Migraine, that's what it is. It's a migraine, and it makes these geometric moving things in your sight, so it's hard to focus on words. It's hard for me. That happens in the middle of prayer, but I've learned to kind of tunnel in, and I can get really focused. So anyways, I'm going to see if I can read this, do my best. So this is the 13th chapter of the first 13 chapters in the Zohar, explaining creation. And that's what my book, explains, that until we had the technology to be able to understand, to be able to see deep into the universe, we would not be able to understand the words of the Zohar, because the Zohar is describing creation from the other side of the black hole, from inside the black hole, how it produced stars and our Earth, and how everything is connected. So here is the 13th and final part of this chapter. Okay. Mikan v'halo, bereishis baro sheish, mikitza shamayim v'ikitza shamayim, sheish sitrin, demishpaton, marazi lab is pashtu Dabra. Migoy Nikita Kadma Bor Ispastus Kad Nakuda Laela Vuhu Aglif Raza Tishmo the Arbim Betray Atavon. From here and further, Bora, here and further, Bereshis is Bora, created, 6, from the edges of heaven until 6 sides of proliferation, hinting from above in diversification of creation. The initial chaos at the very beginning of creation, when the shards from the engraving of the name Elohim upon the lips of the black hole was the beginning of separation and individuality. Each separate shard was suddenly not part of the whole, harbinger to the first existential thought. Who am I? Where am I going? People often feel alienated at times when suddenly divorced or lose a job, a feeling tracing back to this primordial disconnection. Bore is said to have played with creation for 2,000 years prior to creation. 365 squared times 2,000 equals 266,450,000. A code, 26 God, 6 days of creation, culminating with 45 Adam, man, beginning the 6,000 years of man. Outside the bubble of our solar system is a realm unlike anything anywhere. This is where the stars are set in the ebony atmosphere, seated with black holes within the all-encompassing first contraction called Mokam Pane, empty space, causing the first expansion of space. But beyond what is seen and measured are massive clumps of darkness with a pull but no substance. These chambers, called dark matter by scientists, are the place for angels where spiritual happenings take place within chambers, each with a shar, gate, whose letters can be reversed to read Esser 10, Eitz Chaim, tree of life. In the space of creation is established the 6 dimensions within a confined, able to be attenuated down until the original intention of creator twisted into the Or Ein Sof, light without end, can be realized in our tiny solar system of 10, on the outskirts of a galaxy, amid a myriad profusion of galaxies and wonders spread throughout the universe. When the expansion of creation halted at the creator's shout, "Die, enough," the stars blinked on with light tethered immediately to our place in the universe where God's desire is being fulfilled. The beginning of creation is found in the word Bereshit, in the beginning. Rearranged to write Boreshesh, created 6. The word Echad can be interpreted by separating each letter, implying Aleph 1. Inside the Chet, 8, 7 heavens and the earth, plus the Daled, 4 directions upon table. These declinations of 3 letters express how Bore, creator, is one with the dualistic creation of multiplicity, buffered by the universe. The Creator is able to be known through the seven heavens, divided by the six outer planets to the earth, where each person stands on top of the globe with four directions to express free choice: north, east, south, and west. The human being is considered Mahalech, walker. Eretz, earth, can be reduced down to Aleph, ruts, I run. There are many names within the black hole, but the name Mob 42, the number comprising the concept of confusion called Tohu, chaos, is the final primal genesis of creation. The number 42 contains the chaos, pertains to chaos because 6 times 7 equals 42, meaning chaos is missing a 7, which is established on table, where 7 continents support terrestrial life. The planet Mars is the final iteration of Tohu chaos. On Tohu chaos, the seeds of creation were gathered from the stars down through the planets until the cavernous innards of the planet Mars. The ancients referred to Sia, dry, until a burst of oceanic water from deep within the belly of Mars caused a stream of water connecting to table, delivering life in the form of seeds. The earth is known to be the place of tikkun, fixing, by drawing the chaos into order in the previous world of tohu, chaos, through the 940 generations on Mars, the culmination of universal contraction bringing seeds of life to earth was forged along with woman. Without man, sex was dormant. Woman wanting sex precipitated man created upon the earth with woman within. Both Earth and Mars are both woman. One fire within with a calm, multicolored exterior, while the other is opposite, calm within with a harsh red exterior. These two women are depicted in Chava and Lilith, the first two women along with first man. Lilith came as a result of creation. Chava came from a pebble beneath the throne of the Creator. Together, these two primordial women gave birth to man, who needs refinement to merge with woman in 220 years at the advent of the 1,000 years of woman and peace. These first 13 paragraphs in the book Zohar are an independent section set off from what follows. The number 13 is the gematria Echad, 1. The highest point in prayer is pronouncing the word Echad. To extend that pronunciation is to extend one's life. All right. Well, I don't know where I am. So, where are we? Okay, so that I'm going to stop there. We'll do chapter 8 next week, and presumably finish the book next week. And I'm really glad I did this, you know. But anyways, you know, in the time I've allotted to myself, and please feel free to ask questions if you want to extend that time. But I wanted to talk about the upcoming holiday, Tisha B'Av, the 9th of the month of Av. We're in the month of Av, and the Jewish day begins at night. And when the sun goes down, and when the sun goes down on the Shabbat, Friday night to Saturday night, we cease eating, we cease drinking, and we cease sitting on chairs and being comfortable. Instead, we sit on the floor. And we revisit the suffering, not just of losing the temple, but what it means year after year not to have the temple. And there were actually 2 temples, and the first one lasted 410 years before being destroyed by Babylon. And the next one lasted 420 years before being destroyed by Rome. And both temples, 500 years apart, were destroyed on the same day, the 9th of Av. And so that's why it's a very important day. Sad day, but important day. A day we need to recognize and fast and be sad. And one of the famous stories about that time, of the rabbis who lived during that time and who witnessed the destruction and were the beginning of the diaspora. Not long after, they would throw all the Jewish people out of the country and call the land Palestine. But while they were there, so there's a story that Rabbi Akiva and his Chaverim, his friends, his friends, so they're walking on the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount maybe is still smoldering. And they get to the place of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That means the Holy of Holies, where the 10 Commandments were housed. And they see a fox, an impure animal, run out of the rubble there. Oh, and the rabbis, they start crying and start tearing at their clothes. But Rabbi Akiva, he laughs, ha ha ha, so funny. So they say to him, Akiva, why are you laughing? So he says to them, why are you crying? He says, we're crying because the temple's destroyed, and there went an impure animal running out of the place of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which used to house the 10 Commandments, which were written with the finger of God, a miraculous cube engraved on both sides with one engraving, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. And now we see a fox. So he's saying, now why are you laughing? So Rabbi Akiva says, we all know there's going to be a third temple.